let's get this show on the road then. Oh no, my recording crashed again. Unlucky. Oh well, okay, let's go. Make sure we get everything working here. Hello everyone, can't see us yet, but soon. Can you hear me, Henry?
Yes.
Loud and clear. Alright, well, HenricoM Podcast number 3. What up, dude? Henry, everyone? Everyone meet Henry, Henry, this is everyone.
Hello.
So, dude, thank you so much to everyone that's tuned in, already tuned in. I really appreciate it. Before we start, I actually just want to really thank people who are still subscribed to me, who are still donating to me, following me. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, to my subscribers especially, thank you so much. And all the YouTube subscribers, I think I had like 5, and I'm at like 40, which is, it's a lot, okay? And doing what I'm enjoying is in doing something that I like is insane. Yeah, so I just really wanted to thank everyone that's continuing to support me through my endeavors and the friends and stuff that's watching and all that. We appreciate you. Yeah, so today's podcast is it's a little different. It's gonna be a more on a personal level. We have Mr. Like I said, Mr. Henry, yeah? And you guys can probably see by the title that we're gonna talk about some mental health stuff. And it's mostly the whole idea basically came actually from Henry. Henry is a close friend of mine. We used to work together at a company. Well, he still works there. I don't work there anymore.
Yeah.
And he was one of the few people that I grew a lot of respect for, because he's just an awesome fucking guy. And he was one of the first people at said company that not one of the first people, but one of the few people that I could relate with. And yeah, so we've been talking obviously after that, and I went through some shit and he helped me with that, and he is basically always going through some shit, as well, as we'll figure out today. We'll find out today. Yeah, my name's Henrico and he's Henry, so it's legit what's happening. All right, I'm gonna give you the stage. Just before we start, I just wanted to mention one thing. We are not native English speakers, so if our English sucks, don't hate us, okay? Don't laugh at us, because we speak Afrikaans. That's our language. We are Afrikaans boykies. So we actually suck at English at times. So I've noticed, like, if I go watch my previous podcast, or like people tell me, like, it sounds like they can hear that I'm Afrikaans, because they sometimes I just fall over my words, which I just did now. So yeah. So yeah, Henry has the beard. He's the beautiful one. I can't grow a beard. All I want for Christmas is to grow a beard, but all I have is this fucking patch over here.
Just leave it. It'll come out eventually.
It's fucking better. Alright, so like I said, the podcast is basically about, I wanted to, where it all started for me was, you always hear about these celebrities that go through shit and then they conquer it, and they have like this amazing stories to tell. But then there's people like you, people like me, other people who are nobodies, and they also go through shit. They also conquer shit, but they don't get the platform to tell their stories. And obviously, I'm not a big YouTuber or anything like that, so it's not that my platform is the biggest, but I feel like I want to spread awareness be it the little community that we have regarding mental health, living with it, or living with bipolar. You're like full bipolar, right? You have full bipolar.
Yeah. There's actually 2 different ones: bipolar 1, bipolar 2. I'm bipolar 2.
Okay, is one worse than the other, or
No, not at all. Yeah. I also can't say it's not worse, but both of them are equally as bad. But in bipolar 2, there's just a state where you go deeper into mania, where
okay,
you do all kinds of weird stuff.
crazy shit?
Say crazy shit, see crazy shit. Yeah.
Fuck. Okay, you've had a. I've read what you told me, and I remember stories and stuff you've told me. You've been through some shit, dude.
Yeah.
You've had the ultimate. If they would make a movie about someone whose life is just the worst, they could use you.
No, it's honestly not that bad. At times it gets quite bad. So where it all started, I was about, I think, 24. So that's when I moved down to Cape Town,
Hmm.
and I started working at our company, well, your ex company.
Yeah.
Um, and
Wait, but there's a story before that, and I want you to tell that story. How you got that? Because I want, because it happened through a game. We're gamers.
okay, yeah.
I want you to go from the start, dude. Tell me everything. Tell us everything. I want to know.
Okay, so I used to work at a sprinter company for a piece of shit boss. He was a real asshole. And I was playing World of Warcraft this one day, and there's this random guy running around in Stormwind, and he's like, "Hey, you want to join my guild?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And I was speaking Afrikaans with him. He's like, "Oh, okay," and then we became friends. And eventually, this guy got me an interview with the company that I'm working at now,
Hmm.
and eventually I ended up in in Cape Town.
So
Um,
you met. So I don't know if he's, yeah. You met Ruan on World of Warcraft. You didn't know him at all. You met
yeah,
him on World of
yeah,
Warcraft,
pretty pretty random.
and and he helped you get a job.
Yeah,
That's insane. Like that almost sounds too good to be true. I know it's true because I mean I know both of you, but it almost sounds too good. That's fucking insane. Sorry to interrupt you,
well,
but that was just that's insane.
same thing with my fiance. We met in a chat room.
Okay.
Yeah, random.
I never knew that story. Was it
We-
one of those mixer chat rooms or was it one of those online
No, no,
dating
no. Way
sites?
before Mixed guy. Mixed didn't even exist then.
MSN platform, bro.
Yeah, I think it was still called Revo Text or something like that.
Revotex. No, never heard.
Yeah,
I just want to
yeah.
just real quick. I just want to say thank you to Noob Slides for hosting my channel. Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate your support through all this. Sorry, you can continue.
Okay. So eventually, been working for this company for say about a year. Been in Cape Town for about a year, and this one day, like I've never used any kind of drug ever in my life ever. So this one day I decided, okay, well, everybody experiments, one another time. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna see what it's like. Everybody is hyping, weed, and I'm gonna smoke some. I'm gonna see what it is like. So
Okay.
I take a day off at work. I don't tell my fiance or anybody, and I smoke some of it. So the sensation that I got from that first puff I took is like I'm falling down this well and I'm trying to like hold on to the sides as I'm sliding down and I just can't stop myself.
Okay.
And immediately I start getting a panic attack. And my friend that was there with me, he's like, just get up, go out of the room. So I went out, I stood in the hallway for about 10 minutes and it felt amazing. I was like flying over the ocean, it was
It's not
a,
all that
a
bad.
awesome experience. So I'd say about 15 minutes after that, um, I started getting paranoia, um, and that's a normal thing. Well, a normal thing people experience that smoke weed. Not everybody experiences it, but most people that have bad trips experience the paranoia.
How would you describe your paranoia? If you could
Um,
describe it to me, or to anyone listening, how would
okay,
you
so
describe it?
so what happened? And it's it's so stupid. So this friend gave me some mango to eat, and the mango was super sweet. And I was like, what if I never get something as sweet as that ever again? I shit you not. And then I'm like, wait, sugar is sweeter than mango. What if I don't get something sweeter than sugar? And then it's just like, so I started panicking. I'm pacing up and down in the room. I start sweating. So eventually I calm down, go sit on the couch, and here's where it actually starts getting a bit weird. So I started hearing voices, and this voice tells me that I must murder my friend that's there with me.
Well, this is
And
right after you smoked the weed, like a half an hour
yeah,
after.
yeah, yeah.
That must have been
So
some bad
like
weed.
well, look, I have experimented since then, but I'll get to that now.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
Sorry.
so what happened was, um, this voice told me, like, you have to murder him. You have to cut him up in small pieces, put him in the fridge. No one will find him, no one will know. So now I'm sitting there in my mind. I'm like arguing with this voice. I'm like, no. And he's like, you're going to do it. You have to do it. So it's like my evil and my good side fighting inside me. So I see a butter knife laying on the couch next to me. And this voice tell me, take that butter knife now. Stab him in the neck. And he's sitting right next to me. So obviously I start getting scared, paranoia all over again. And I decided to go lock myself on the balcony. And I sat there for the rest of the trip for maybe 2 hours. I sat there. And in that 2 hours, this voice keeps talking with me, telling me to commit suicide. Now, we were on the fourth floor. This voice told me to jump out of the window to kill myself. There was fish hooks laying in the corner of the balcony, and this voice told me, "Look, you're gonna take these hooks and you're gonna cut your wrist open and you're gonna bleed yourself out." It
Jesus.
was yeah, it was really uh, weird. So I had to fight with this voice inside me the whole time to not do anything to myself or my friend. And that experience was terrifying. It was, after I came out of that trip of smoking the weed, I was like psychologically damaged to a point where I didn't even know who I am. Because why would I think about killing my friend? You know,
Yeah, that's yeah.
and
Like I said, I've only I've smoked weed once or twice in my life, and
mm,
the first time it was really bad stuff. I also had a trip, but it was a little amount, and I just never did it again after that.
mm,
So the fact that you went through something like that is fucking. It's actually eye opening, and I almost want to say
yeah, it
happy that I
was.
didn't go through something as terrifying as that. That's yeah. I don't know
Well,
what to say
it
actually.
gets a whole lot worse. Don't worry.
All right, I'm
But
ready.
I'm gonna get to that piece now. So what I want to talk about now is, like I said, I have experimented with it some more, just to see uh, what happens. So at the moment where I am now, this sickness isn't that difficult for me to control. The psychosis part of it, the seeing stuff it's not there yet.
Oh,
Um, so what I did was I tried seeing if I take a little bit less of the weed, what that would do. But the experience was exactly the same. It was just not as intense. So doesn't matter if I smoke a little, smoke a lot. Doesn't matter if I eat it in a cookie. Same effect.
okay.
Same effect. Like nothing changes. Um, yeah, it was quite terrifying. So what happened after this ordeal with me trying to kill my friend? I got like a type of a harm OCD. I was afraid to be around people when they're alone with me.
Mm-hmm.
I was afraid to open drawers with sharp objects. If I'd see a scissor, I'd get like a panic attack. Um, any sharp object would like freak me out. So yeah, that eventually went away on its own. Like I realized, I'm not gonna hurt anybody, so
Yeah.
I can just be cool about it.
And what was that like? Like, I mean, you have a fiance. I don't know if she was your fiance back then. She might have
Yeah,
just been your girlfriend.
yeah, she's just my girlfriend
How
back then. Yeah.
what was that like around her? What did you feel
Um,
like? Did you never feel like you could maybe by accident harm her or something like that?
I don't know. I think with her it was like so strong that I knew I would never hurt her.
Okay.
But like I can't be alone with a child because I was scared that I might like break their arm or
Mm.
fucking something weird like that,
Yeah.
Like they're so little and small. Like I was also afraid to be alone with puppies or dogs or animals. So, and that's the thing that this one friend of mine doesn't understand about animals. Like, it's not that I don't like animals. I just don't like being around them when I'm
Yeah.
alone,
Fuck.
because I have these memories, that come back.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So the harm OCD thing went away eventually,
How
and
long? How long would you say it took you?
that took me about 3 months
Jesus.
to, like,
Three
be
months is
okay
a
with it.
while.
Yeah.
3 months is a while to have something like that.
So what happened after that? Now that's the story. Um, Going on for about a year before I went to go see my psychiatrist for the first time. Um, so it carried on about normally for, I'd say, about 3 weeks. I was terrified of sleeping because the sensation you get when you fall asleep is exactly the same sensation I got when the CBD, the THC started kicking in, and I start getting this high feeling.
When your trip starts, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got the same sensation uh, by falling asleep as that weed gave me. So I was terrified of sleeping. So I was sleep deprived. And for bipolar people, that is like the absolute worst thing you can do to your mental health is not getting enough sleep.
No. Sorry.
Um,
Can you do me a favor? Can you just show your medication to everyone? Because I
okay.
know living with bipolar is bad. I just want everyone to see it.
So I got this.
No, but I want you to show everything as one. I want you to see. I want them to see how fucking much you have to take. Because
Okay,
when you
well,
showed
I'm not
me,
gonna show the whole fucking thing. I'm just gonna, like,
that's every day.
yeah.
How many times? Is it once a day, twice a day, thrice a day?
Uh, the one set is 3 times a day. The other set is twice a day.
Jesus.
So, I got an antidepressant, I got a mood stabilizer, and then an antipsychotic pill that keeps me from stop hearing voices and getting tactile hallucinations where you feel like spiders are walking on you and you feel hands on you, shit like that.
Oh,
It's quite weird.
fuck. I'm
Yeah.
getting chills thinking about it, dude. What the fuck? Okay,
Well,
sorry. I didn't want to show you. I throw you off the
been a
story
while
there.
now. Fuck, where was I
You
now?
were basically telling me about you were getting sleep deprived because
Oh
you were
yeah,
scared of sleeping because of the sensation you got from falling
yes,
asleep.
yes. So, when I was not sleeping, um, I was doing like maths, like algebra and trigonometry and like all weird kind of shit, you know. Um, I never liked maths ever, but the starting of the mania phase, um, I found it extremely interesting. Now, mania, for those of you that don't know what it is,
No, I don't know what it is.
um, it's like a mental state that you go into where you're super hyperactive, you are very upbeat, um, and you have a very inflated image of yourself. Like, I believed that I'm gonna save the world, and nobody could prove me wrong. I believe that I am the savior. God sent me to save the people. So, okay, I'm gonna get to that now because that is in a different part of the
It all
story.
lines up.
But
Okay, okay.
yeah, so what happened was I would stay up at night, like maybe go to bed for an hour,
Okay.
and I would just do maths the whole time. It's all I do, and the thoughts in my mind were going like a million thoughts at the same time. It was like noisy inside of my head, and um, that went on for about 3 weeks, and then the full onset of the mania started. Um, I was getting super productive at work, like you remember the Qmatic systems we have?
Yeah.
Now, back then, we didn't have that in the branches, and there was about 480 of those devices. I set them up like almost single-handedly. I got a bit of help from Ron, but I basically set up all those devices for the whole country,
So for those
all
of you who
by
don't know,
myself.
Qmatic system is basically what they use in certain shops to You know, like if you go to the shop and they're like, "Oh, next customer, please, teller 5." That's literally that's a queuematic system. It's like a. It sounds like a stupid thing that it's just like, oh, you press a button, it calls the next person. There's so much more that goes into it because it has to like track the data, see how many gets processed per second, yada yada yada. So yeah, that's it's not an easy thing to set up. So the fact that you did all of them on your own is fucking mind-boggling. But okay,
I was at work from 7 in the morning and I'd leave at 5 every day, and I'd sit alone in this basement in Campus C, and um, I would talk to my dead grandmother.
wait.
Um,
You said you talked to your dead grandmother.
yeah, no, yeah.
Was
So
this
this is
before you started taking medication? So you,
yeah,
on this point, you were on
yeah, yeah,
nothing. This
yeah.
was just your
I was on
mind.
nothing. I didn't
Jesus.
know. I didn't know I had bipolar. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what the hell was going on. But for me, I felt normal. It didn't feel like there was something wrong. It's like I knew something was weird, but I felt still like me.
Hmm.
But if I'm now thinking about it, it's very strange. So um, I talked to my grandmother, and she would talk back to me, and shit like that. And then I'd feel it touching me in the back of the neck and shit like that. It was quite strange. And
Were you and your
at
grandmother
that
close?
point, yeah, we were quite close.
Okay, so
Yeah, she passed away when I was about 20, 20, yeah, about 20.
okay.
So at that point, I started getting a big dip. So I fell into a very deep depression, and I decided I was going to take my own life. That was my first suicide attempt. Um,
Well, you said first,
yeah,
so
my
there
first.
was more than one.
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck.
Um, so I had everything planned out. I knew exactly what I was going to do. Um, and this voice just told me, you know what? You haven't been to a mental health professional yet. So just see what it's like. If it doesn't work, sure, go through with your plan. So I decided to put the whole taking my life on a pause, and I went to go see a psychologist.
This was
So
recent.
eventually,
This
no,
was
no, no, this was about 4 years ago, 4 5 years ago.
okay. It's still pretty recent if you think about it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
that long ago at all. Okay. Yeah.
Mm. So I went to go see the psychologist, and we didn't get we didn't get along that well. And that's the thing with people that go to see uh, mental health professionals. It's not like you go there and the first person you meet you're gonna like them.
Mm.
It's ongoing process.
I can vouch for that.
Like that woman I went to and I didn't like her, so I just told her, look, I don't think I'll be seeing you again. um, and she actually um, referred me to the psychiatrist. Just give me a second, yeah.
No, take your time, dude. Drink all the water you want. Chug that bottle. Take it all.
Sorry, my Mastinia's getting bad now because of all the talking.
Yeah, I know why that is. We'll get to that. I know why you have
Mm.
that, and we'll get to that. That's even more fucked up. But yeah, we'll get to that.
Um, so the psychiatrist, fucking awesome, awesome, awesome lady. Um, Best thing that's ever happened in my life. Okay, so I started seeing her, um, and the first session we had was about 2 hours long. So I was just there sitting and telling her, all these things. So with the mania, um, the first voice I heard was, or well, one of the voices I heard was this voice telling me that is God, and that I was sent back to Earth to right my wrongs in my previous life. So he told me that in my previous life, and get this shit, I was Hitler. That is who
What?
I was in my previous life, apparently. according to this voice.
So you basically, the voice basically tried to, how can I say, we can basically call it your mental state was trying to
Yeah,
convince you that you were Hitler in a previous life.
yeah, yeah,
That's okay.
yeah. I know.
I know you
So,
like reading like this interesting old stuff. I mean, I know that. So that
well,
it kind of makes sense to me that your mind might have made that connection.
like, let me be honest. I don't know all that much about Hitler. I really
Okay.
don't. Um, so this voice tells me that I'm Hitler, killed a lot of people. Now it's my job to save all the people. And I was like, how am I gonna do this?
Yeah.
And the connection just made in my mind that I need to invent a machine that's going to give free electricity to everybody around the world and nobody will ever have to pay for electricity. And then this voice tells me, yeah, but in the life before Hitler, you were Nikola Tesla. Now, I don't know if you know who Nikola Tesla is.
It's the guy that invented electricity. No, that's I don't know.
He invented the AC system that
Okay,
we
so
use
yeah.
today.
Sorry,
So
I'm not very good at history.
yeah. So basically, I was this fucking genius guy, but I was also Hitler. So yeah, it was quite fucked up. So I started getting a tutor. I was doing mathematics. I was doing science. I was off of my mind, and no one could tell me like, "Listen, bro, what are you doing?"
Yeah, you didn't have a
Like,
support system.
well, not like that, but like no one could like break through and tell me, look, what the hell are you doing? You're going crazy, believing all this weird stuff.
If I may
And
ask,
I just
if I may ask you, you're telling me all this, and I'm trying to think. What was it like with your girlfriend? What did you tell
man,
her these things?
no. Well, I told her this, but at the time when it was happening, she didn't know a lot.
Okay. Oh, so
Because
you
I knew
didn't.
something was a bit strange, but
Okay.
yeah, I knew something was a bit strange, but I just went with it because it felt normal. I don't know how to explain it.
Okay.
So anyway, I was sitting as a psychiatrist. I was telling her all this stuff, and for about 2 hours, we went through this whole process of what's gonna happen now, and she gave me my list of medications that I must take. And for about 3 months, I was still having some um, symptoms of the bipolar,
Yeah.
and it's been about 4 or 5 years now that I've been taking my medication, and so far things are not that bad.
I know that I know that you didn't always know that you had bipolar. Like you said
Yeah,
earlier, you thought you were normal,
yeah,
and
I
then
thought I was normal.
you thought you got diagnosed. You only got diagnosed recently, basically.
Yeah. Um. So, like, the way it is now, like, I know all these weird things that go on, but I'm more in tune with understanding when is happening and what is happening, so I can like predict, how depressed I'll be, or if I'm getting too happy, I might go into like a hypomanic episode. So
Yeah.
I try to like keep my moods, quite stable.
Okay, I just wanna.
So,
I'm sorry, but I'm seeing that you. I just want to give your mouth a bit of rest because there's a reason why you have
please,
this. So
yeah,
so I'm gonna talk for a bit. He's gonna explain more about it. Basically, this is horrible to say, but Henry actually has a tumor. He's living with a tumor. He's ready to get surgery soon, and because of this tumor, he's gonna explain it a bit better. I just want to give him a bit of rest. For him to rest his face muscle. So basically, what it's doing, the muscles, it's almost like they relax. So his mouth literally just stops. Like there's points where, from my understanding, this might be wrong, he can't open his mouth. So he can't talk, he can't anything. So he has to like breathe through his nose and stuff like that. So Henry, that's why I'm just gonna give him a bit of chance. I just wanna reflect on a bunch of stuff that you said. And I will start off by saying that I can't say to anything that you've told me, I cannot say sorry, I know how you feel, because I can't relate to that. And that is something it sucks that people say that, like, I understand how you feel. I'm sorry, I understand what you're feeling, and you have no idea. People have no idea. I cannot say at all. I can't say to any of those things like, I'm sorry, I know exactly how you feel, because I just can't. Um, you know that I've been through some shit as well, because you and Ron actually motivated me to just go seek help, and I did go seek help, and I'm in a way better state now than I was, with my new work and better friends around me. And I feel my support structure, my mental health in itself is a lot better because of the people I surround myself with. Like, especially with the new job. Like, I was utterly unhappy at my previous work because our manager was just not human. He is not a human. And with the new work, like, I'm just surrounded by better people. It motivated me to do more to my body, and just get out there more. Like, there's this girl that I work with now. She doesn't even work with me. She works in our Joburg office, and I've never seen her. I've only communicated with her via chats and, like, over social media, and she's one of the fucking coolest people I've ever met, and it always makes me happy speaking to her. And she's actually motivated me to, again, just work on myself, because she's such a positive person. She's like getting married this year, or getting married next year, and she's like always doing things for people, and she just motivated me just to become a better person. So I relate in the fact that I also went through a low, and I started working on it. You had different tendencies at first. I mean, you wanted to. I mean, you said it yourself. You wanted to take your own life, but then you still went from your side to go talk to someone. And I want anyone that's watching this or listening to this, just it's the stupidest thing to say. People are going to tell you, just go talk to someone, but trust me, it works. Just, even if it's a friend, it doesn't have to be family, because I can promise you, I am convinced that 80% of people don't want to say anything because they're scared of what their family might think, or what their family might say. I know it's tough. It's hard talking to your mother about stuff like that, or your dad. My dad is a cop. You know how scared I am of my dad? I love him to death, but I'm scared of him because he's a man, you know? I can't be that little pussy bitch little boy coming to him like, oh man, my heart is sore. You know, that's not how it works. So it is tough to get it out there. But if I can leave anyone with anything, just go speak to someone. Speak to a friend. Speak to someone professional. There are tons of support systems that you can find. They are out there, and I know it's not easy. It never is. It never will be. And this is such a cliche, but you are not alone, and there are other people. How's your mouth feeling there, dude? Are you ready to go on a bit?
Better. Okay. Let's go.
All right. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. So about it's now a year and 8 months. My brother passed away.
Yeah. I remember
He had cancer, and was like, basically, we found out in a couple of months. It's like he was gone, and I took that really hard. Yeah, it was bad. Um,
How old was your brother?
20. He
Your
was
brother was
20 years
20
old.
years old
Yeah.
when he died of cancer.
And I remember the day the morning my mom phoned me, um, and she told me that my brother passed away. I couldn't feel anything. I couldn't cry. I couldn't. I had literally no emotion, and I think that's due to the antidepressant, medication I take. Like,
Yeah.
it blocks off that emotion. Um, it like keeps all your emotions in balance in your, chemical shit that happens in your brain.
Yeah.
Um, so it was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? My brother just died and I don't feel anything. And it wasn't long after that, maybe 2 weeks, I went into a deep depression. Um, yeah, it was bad.
I
Even
remember.
now
I remember
thinking
at
about
work.
it.
I remember at work. It was you were much different. Um,
So, life went on, and the anniversary of his death came up. Um, he passed away in April, and in April, I tried to commit suicide again. Um,
Of this year.
I took my grandparents in. They live with me, and my grandfather has a pistol. He's always had it, and we got him to put it in a safe. But um, my grandmother had the keys. Now she's probably not a very creative person, and she like basically hid the keys in a very obvious place. So I got all of the keys, and this one day I was at home, um, and Chantal was there as well. And I went
Chantal's your
into
fiance, right?
yeah. I went into my grandparents' room. I unlocked the safe, and I was going to shoot myself. And I opened the safe, and the pistol is not there. So I was like, okay. So I locked the safe. I put the key back where I found it, and you know, go on. So a couple of days later, I see my psychiatrist, and um, I tell her, listen, I found the safe key, and I wanted to shoot myself, but the pistol wasn't there. I don't know where it is. I thought my grandfather took it with him because they went to Joburg to go visit my uncle. Um, so psychiatrist phone Chantal, tells her the whole thing. Eventually, we found out that my grandfather had taken the pistol out and put it in his bedside table. So
Jesus.
if I just went around to the other side of the bed and I had a look in his bedside table,
It would have been a
I
whole
wouldn't be
different
here
thing.
today. Yeah.
Fuck.
So maybe it was the hand of God, that like convinced him to take it out or whatever.
Hmm.
Um,
Speaking of that,
yeah.
are you religious at all? Are you religious, or do you
Uh,
have anything that you specifically believe in?
Not specifically.
Okay.
Bunch of weird shit.
Okay.
That's for another
No,
another
that's a
podcast.
that is literally a podcast on its own. I can go on
Going down the rabbit
forever.
hole.
That's
Mm,
a big rabbit hole. Not now though. Not now. We don't have
yeah.
we don't have 20 hours.
Um. So that was the last time I tried to, or well, wanted to kill myself. Um.
Sorry to interrupt you. Someone Noob Slice in chat just like, I also believe in a bunch of weird shit. He's just hitting his DMT pen, dude.
um.
uh,
So I mean, I'm taking the pills every day. It's a struggle, definitely is. The medication doesn't take away um the the illness. It is just like a band-aid.
mhm.
The medication doesn't stop it. It just prolongs the time period before you're gonna have a relapse.
What happens if you don't take it? Can you describe what you feel, what you see, what you hear? What
No.
is it like if you don't take it?
Okay, so I've never not taken the medication. Like since I started, I've taken it religiously, like every day
Okay,
for
good
the
job.
last couple of years. But um, I can imagine what would happen if I don't take the medication. Firstly, I'd be super happy or super depressed. I'd
No in
like
between.
believe, yeah, I believe all this weird shit. No in between, no in between at all. I'd start believing all kinds of weird shit like ants are gonna take over the world and I need to destroy ant nests or some shit like that.
Okay.
Something weird. Um, I'd definitely be seeing stuff that's not there. Like this one day, I'm driving and I see this like five people next to the road, and as I turn to look at my blind spot of my car because I want to change lanes, and I'm looking forward again, they're not there anymore. They're gone.
Fuck.
Um, like this one day also, um, I was also driving and I see this person in the road walking the road,
Yeah.
and I look down at how fast I was going. I put on brakes because this person is crossing the road, and I look up and nothing.
Person gone.
Yeah. So see stuff. Um, hear stuff, voices, telling me all kinds of weird shit. Like the worst experience I had with the voices. Um, One night I woke up at about 2 o'clock in the morning, and this voice tried to convince me to murder Chantel. And now it's again this thing of fighting with this voice. Like, no, I'm not gonna do it. Um, and then this voice tells me, well, if you're not gonna do it, I'm gonna take over your body, and I'm gonna do it. You don't have a choice.
That's the voice telling you this.
Yeah. So super paranoid, anxious, um, had a full blown panic attack, and my whole body literally started shaking.
Jesus.
And uh, the ambulance came to fetch me. I went into the outpatients. There was for a couple of hours. Got some medication, sent me home. Um, yeah.
That's
So
that that was that wasn't that long ago. If I'm
uh,
trying to I'm trying to think about all the times that these things happened, because obviously we spoke a lot at work. Me and you, we
mm,
didn't speak every single day, but when we did speak, it was always like, "Hey man, how you doing?" You know. So I'm trying to think when this must have been before 2017 or
yeah, that
okay,
was before
okay.
2007.
It's
Um,
it's interesting. It's interesting to like to hear. And the most interesting part for me is how you cope with it, and I don't think I would be able to. I always say, I always have the saying about myself. I fight my own demons, and
mm,
it's also I can't describe it as a strong voice as you can, but if there's ever anything, or if there's ever anyone talking down about me, it's myself. Like, I have the lowest of the lowest self-image in the fucking world. Like, I think personally that I look horrible. I think my voice is annoying. You know, like everything I can possibly think negative about
mm,
is me, and the only person telling me these things is me. And so I know I have anxiety. I don't want to, no, I don't want to say full blown anxiety. I feel like that anxiety and depression, or having depression, is a word that gets thrown around a lot. But I have severe social anxiety, where
mm.
like if my friends would invite me out, I no, I don't go out. Period. I hate going out. If I
I'm the same.
social gatherings, I will have them at home,
Mm,
or someone would like just I would have a conversation with someone and they'll say okay, but then in my mind I'll be like, why did they just say okay like that? Why didn't they say okay more happier? Then I'll start like
mm,
going into this fucking spiral of, oh my god, they hate me. This is it. This is why everyone hates me. You're nothing. Yada yada yada. Um, so that's something that I deal with, and the way I dealt with it, I did the same as you. I went to go see professional help, and they put me on medication, and I just started teaching myself to cope with it better. And once again, with my new work and everything is, it's a lot easier. So I am trying to move out of my comfort zone. And the most I've done so far with that is like I lost a shit ton of weight so far, and I'm still
mm,
going, and and I'm still going with that. And I think if I reach my goal weights and stuff, and as it goes down more, I think I can start maybe like doing social stuff. Obviously, it's not something you just go out and do. Any person that ever tells you to just go do stuff is, and if you have
no,
mental
fuck
issues,
them.
that's wrong.
Mm,
You don't force someone into situations like that. If someone doesn't want to do something, they don't want to fucking do it. They just don't want to do it.
mm,
Um, yeah, it's really. Uh, like I said, I can't relate with anything that you. I can't say that I understand how you feel with any of the scenarios you went through, because you've been through some shit. I mean, your brother was 20 years old and he died of cancer.
mm,
And like, I remember when you told me that your brother's not so lekker, and it was so fast. The next thing I knew, you were on leave. Obviously, there
mm.
after he passed, it was so fast. And yeah, I can't imagine what that's even. Or I can't even begin to imagine what that must have been to deal like. Um,
Yeah, it's quite shit. I never thought I'd, bury my brother.
mm. I feel the same way. I always feel like, and this is stupid of me to say, but I always feel like I want my parents to bury me because I don't know if I can deal with that. It's stupid to think that way. But I don't want to deal with stuff like that. It's stuff that you shouldn't. It's part of life. You're born, you live, you die. That's where that we are 100% certain that's gonna happen. You don't know when. You're born, you live, you die, and I just don't know why I can't deal with the fact that might be a reality that might come too soon. It might come just not only to me but to anyone else. It's a sucky thing that it's like just like this thing above our heads all the time.
All the time, yeah.
That's there because you never know. You never know when it might happen.
Well, I have a theory. I'm not gonna live too much longer. I'm going for operation to get this tumor removed.
Yeah. Sorry. Can
And,
you just explain Can you just explain what tumor you have and how you found out about it and where it is and what it does? You must just tell me if your face and stuff is. Just tell me. I'll go on. I can talk forever.
It's cool. It's not cancerous though. In that like sense, I'm lucky. But you have a organ in the middle of your chest here. It goes up in your neck.
Mhm.
It's called a thymus. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thymus. So basically, what this organ does when you're a baby, it forms like your immune system. And as you get older, it basically just turns into a big piece of fat tissue. And some people develop like a tumor in this organ. And what that does is it makes antibodies that attacks the nervous system and muscle. So if I talk too much, or I use my hands too much, or I move too much, I go numb. I can't use my hands. I can't move my lips. Like if I would eat, the food would just fall out of my mouth. I can't even bite through a piece of bread. That's how weak my jaw gets if I chew too much. Um, yeah, it sucks. So my eyes as well. I can't pinch my eyes. And the worst thing about it is breathing. Like my diaphragm, it takes that muscle obviously as well, and I have to lay down in a certain position to be able to breathe. I can't lay it on my back at all. Um, I I have to have like my medication every day. Otherwise, I would like not make it. So basically, I got this immune system suppressants
Mhm.
that suppress my immune system. I take other medication to increase all kinds of chemicals that work with the nervous system, muscle, communication stuff. And the side effects of that pill specifically, um, in the parts of my body that I don't get this illness, that chemicals build up. So I get a lot of cramps
Yeah.
in my legs. And yeah, it sucks. So if I drink my medication, it sucks. If I don't drink it, it sucks. So yeah, it's a
It's something you
shitty
have to
thing.
live you
Mm,
have to learn to live with it.
yeah. So I'm going. They said in another year because I still have to lose up. But
Just
basically they're
speak a bit
gonna.
louder. Your mic's cutting out. Just speak a bit
Oh,
louder.
sorry. Basically they're gonna cut my chest open and like open me up, and then they're gonna cut out this organ. Um, and I don't think I'm gonna make it through that op. A couple of years back, I had to go in for dislocated leg, and they gave me anesthesia and stuff, and I was basically dead. My heart stopped 3 times. They tried to, get me back and
Are you
whatever.
allergic to the anesthesia?
I have no fucking idea. I don't know. But I told all of the doctors there about it, and I told them, look, this is the situation. You guys must just decide what you're gonna give me on the day or whatever. So I'm quite terrified of the operation, and that's another thing that gives me anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
Is because I know that
It might
maybe,
be the end any day.
yeah. So I got all my shit in order, my will, my funeral plan, all
Everything
that
needs
shit
to be.
is, yeah.
So I know that a lot. I know you said earlier you need to lose weight first. Now,
Mm,
to anyone that might be sitting out there thinking to yourself like, just fucking lose weight. Your thing is you can't breathe,
mm.
literally. So if you exercise and stuff, if he can only eat so much or he can only eat so little, it's like his body plateaued, and that's things
And
that happens.
I can't choose. I can't eat a lot, but
Exactly. It's you think that, oh, he's not eating, you shouldn't be gaining weight. That's not how it works. That's a lot
mm,
of people think that um if you think about weight loss, and I can fucking vouch for this, weight loss is 80% what you eat. And
mm,
if he's gonna, and in his situation, I'm not saying this is what he's doing, but if in his situation he can only get through 3 cups of yogurt every day, he's not gonna fucking lose weight. That's not how it's just not gonna happen. So it
well,
sucks that you have to go through that. And just I just want to shed a bit of light on this. I remember when I almost want to say when the tumor started forming, because you originally thought, well, you and everyone else thought that it was an allergic reaction,
mm,
but then it was actually something completely different. Because you would like eat stuff and then it would happen, and you'd be like, oh, I'm
yeah,
allergic to this, and then it wasn't that.
yeah. Like I put off going to a neurologist because I was waiting for 6 months before I could get an appointment with this guy,
Yeah.
and I was like, just fuck it. And I was walking around with this thing for about maybe a year and 8 months that I didn't have it checked out, and it started getting worse with the breathing. I had to lay down like in fetal position because I couldn't breathe otherwise. And I just decided, okay, well, I'm gonna have to go now. And I told my general practitioner, my house doctor, if you want to call that.
Mm-hmm.
I told him, look, I think I have myasthenia. And he's like, no, it can't be. So I'm like, well, I've got all the symptoms. And he's like, I hope not, but I'm going to make an appointment by the neurologist for you. And I went to go see him. We spoke for about 5 minutes. He's like, no, you got myasthenia. No doubt about it. But I'm fortunate. I'm lucky because some people get myasthenia, but they don't have a tumor in their thymus. So those poor people, if their um, thymus gets removed, the sickness isn't guaranteed to go away because that antibodies can be created somewhere else in the body.
Yeah.
So they have to go through this whole experience, and then there's a chance for them not even, you know,
Making a
becoming
full
better.
recovery. Yeah.
No, but for
Fuck.
me, because there's a tumor, most likely that is the cause of me having this. So if it's removed, I will recover fully.
So
So yeah,
there's at least a
there's
little
a
bit of a silver lining.
silver lining around the dark clouds.
When is the operation supposed to happen?
I went to see a professor by Grooteskier Hospital, and she said I need to lose weight to about 120, and then they're gonna schedule the surgery. So I don't know,
And if you
maybe a
don't
year,
lose the weight,
then I don't get the operation.
it's only gonna get worse.
Mm,
So what is your mental battles in trying to lose weight? And I know, dude, I can
mm.
say I know how hard it is to lose weight. Listen, I fucking love food. I'm fat
Oh,
because I like to
ah,
eat. I'm not
yeah.
fat because this and that. I'm fat because I love to fucking eat, and I love eating good food. And if good
So,
food is a steak with potatoes
mm,
and fucking green beans drenched in butter sauce, then that is what I like. So I know that it's really hard to make a, a change in your eating lifestyle, and with you having this humongous block of you can't just eat anything. Like
mm,
I'm trying to think, if you make a good steak, even if it's soft, you still have, there's some chews that has to go through there.
mm,
And for you chewing just a bit, like you said, you can't even bite through bread after like just a bit of eating. So
mm.
how do you like,
Well,
I
look,
just want to know, I just want to know your mental position in where are you now? Like what are you doing to
well, well,
hopefully get this sorted?
well, let me just say this, ne? Since I've been taking the medication, it's gotten better, but it just takes a little bit longer before I start feeling the symptoms.
No.
Like I still get it, but it just takes longer. So I can get through a meal without like, not being able to choose, so I can get through a meal. Um, my mental state on that is, it's just something, I just have to deal with it. It's like the depression, it's like the bipolar, it's just another fucking thing to deal with. This last time when I was so depressed, I was telling my psychiatrist that being on earth is literally hell because I'm trapped here. I'm trapped in my own mind. No one can feel what I feel. No one can understand it the way I understand it. And to me, it literally feels like I'm being tortured. Um, some days, life gives me a bit of happiness, and then I smile and I'm happy. But I'm always in this continuing circle of it's gonna go to shit eventually.
You almost get
I can,
suspicious when things are going well.
yeah, I can never be just happy. Like I know I'm happy now, but eventually I'm going to want to kill myself. It's like yeah, it's like this vicious circle. It's like my own personal hell. This is the way life tortures me.
And your biggest enemy is yourself, basically.
Yeah.
It's and when I say yourself, it's your mental health, and that's why I wanted. I was so happy that you approached me because that's why I wanted to
Mm.
just elaborate on how fucking important it is to make sure and take care of your mental state. People, I
Yeah, like
think. Sorry, you can continue. I'll get to this.
okay, like for all the people watching, like guys, if you think you have a mental illness or you're depression, like
Let's put your
honestly,
mic closer again. It keeps cutting out. Yeah.
sorry
No
guys,
worries. No worries.
like if you think you have depression or any kind of mental illness, go see a professional. Like I promise you, that is the best decision you'll ever make. Like when I was at my lowest low, before the first time I went to go see someone, I was also like, the stigma of people are gonna think I'm crazy and stuff like that. But trust me, it is the best thing you will ever do for yourself. You'll be so much happier. And like when I'm depressed and I want to kill myself, that's all that I want. But when I'm like I'm now, I know that I do not want to die. But the intrusive thoughts get so bad when I'm depressed. Like I wake up and man, at least 3 to 4 times every hour, I think about killing myself. It's a constant thing in my mind going on like I want to die, I want to die, I want to die, I want to die. My
Mm.
life is shit, I want to die, I want to die. It never stops. Until I reach the point where I am now, and it doesn't even cross my mind. To me, it's strange because I don't even think about it. But when I'm depressed, it's all I think about.
And if you
Um,
take your medication when you're depressed, does it make it better, or is it just a phase that
no,
you go through?
it's just a dip in my mood, and I just have to ride it out. Just wait.
And how long do these episodes last for you?
It depends.
Yeah, I was thinking it's probably it's a very loaded question to ask because I mean I can't see
The
it can last 5 minutes, it can last 5 weeks.
the last one I had now stopped about 2 days ago, and that lasted about for a week, I'd say. For a week, I was feeling down, not depressed, just down.
Yeah.
And then it goes like this, up, down until it hits a low, and then it shoots back up again. Feel happy, and then it goes down again like that.
Okay.
Now, my psychiatrist explained to me that the medication I'm on at the moment is not like the best for my situation. She wants to change my medication. She
Okay.
wants to put me on lithium. Now that's gold standard
Lithium.
for lithium for bipolar. Lithium you'll know from the periodic table of elements. Um,
Okay.
so they give me these lithium pills. I drink that, and like apparently that's amazing for bipolar. But lithium, if you like using it for a long time, eventually going to get kidney damage. So, I'm going to, well, even this medication I'm taking now, it damages my liver.
Holy shit.
So you're trading one thing for another.
Solving one problem with creating another.
Yeah.
Just you don't know when it's gonna hit you.
So I'm not really comfortable with the whole thing of taking the lithium because eventually when I'm older, like 60, I'm going to have kidney problems, So
And
do
you
I
got no learn.
just go on like I'm doing now and just ride the wave like my life,
Yeah.
or do I make the decision and just take the lithium? And another thing with the lithium is we don't know what the effects of the lithium is going to be on my other
Yeah, I
condition, the
was about
myasthenia.
to ask you, what about that? Like,
Yeah,
how do you know it's not gonna make that worse?
exactly. So that's also something we don't know.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, I don't know about anyone else, but I don't want to say inspired. I feel that I'm just super super happy that you approached me and asked to do this because mental health is such a. I feel like in the society that we are now, and I don't even think it's been the, like it hasn't been like this for years. There's always memes and jokes about like
Mm.
social anxiety and stuff like that, but and there are people out there it's almost like it's a label now. Like if you don't have anxiety or social anxiety, you're not cool. Um, if you don't say you're depressed once a day on your latest tweet or your latest fucking Facebook post or whatever people use, then you're not. It's just not. You're not going to get a reaction, and it sucks. It sucks that we are at that point, but that is once again why. And I'm a nobody on YouTube, on Twitch. I'm no one with a voice, but I know I can try. And when you approached me, I saw it as the best way to maybe try and just get just a little bit of awareness. If I can get one person that might not be feeling so well to do something, I'm saying me, I mean we, as in with this podcast.
Mm.
If I can get one person to maybe make a change, that is more than enough for me because that is my ultimate goal. Because I know what it's like to not feel right. I'm not going to say I know what it's like to be depressed or be anxious or to do this or do that. But I know what it's like to not feel happy. That is a very strong word. I know what it's like not to feel happy because happiness can be based on a lot of things. Some people find happiness in materialistic things. Some people find happiness in money. Some people find happiness in people. Everyone has a different view of happiness, I believe. And I also just want to go on a limb. I have zero expert knowledge on mental health. What I'm doing is I'm sharing an experience, or I'm sharing what I feel. And this is the same that Henry's doing right now. He's sharing what he is feeling. And he can say whatever he wants. He's a fucking teddy bear. He has such a big heart and he cares so much for people. And he does, because I've worked with him. And he can say yes, he feels like he's not gonna make it. But deep down, he wants to make it. And that's why we're doing this. To just if we can get one person. And obviously there's a lot more things that do come into account with his health, with my health, with any person's health. Like he's obviously been through much other stuff. I know for a fact that you were abused. If I'm not wrong, you were severely bullied, and I was also bullied in school. I was always the fat kid, dude. I was always a fatty boom boom. I was that guy. That was me, and you kind of just learn to live with it.
Mm.
Because you can go tell your parents, but what telling an 8-year-old to start calling someone fat is not going to do much
Yeah.
in today's times, especially. I mean, you're not much older than me. You're a bit older than me, so we kind of still in the same, I almost want to say, schooling system or the way we grew up and stuff like that. Um, yeah, mental health is such a big thing which should be addressed more, and it's gotten a lot of traction lately. But then once again, I feel like it's becoming a label. Like it shouldn't be a label. It should be something that you deal with professionally. And if you need help, just talk to someone. There's so many forms of ways you can get help. There's online places you can like physically go see someone, and yeah, if you ever go through anything and you're down or you feel like something's just not right, just speak to a friend, speak to a family member, speak to a relative, speak to a professional. That's if there's any wish that I have for anyone here that might be watching or might be listening right now, is that I don't want you to go through and being, like I said earlier to Henry, his biggest enemy is himself. And that's the same with me.
That
And
is true.
there's a lot of people that is the same. Your
Mm,
biggest enemy is yourself. Because, and this is a stupid example, but for like me, I really, 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 really want a girlfriend. I really want, I don't want a girlfriend per se. I want someone to talk to. That's not a guy. I want someone that
mm,
I can maybe just speak to about like more in depth stuff and just have someone, you know? And my biggest enemy with that is me because I keep telling myself, like, you're an ugly motherfucker. Nobody wants you. You're a big motherfucker. Nobody wants you. And that's something that I'm now working on. And I'm getting
mm.
better. I'm getting happier. Um, so yeah, this just from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you. We're not done yet. Just so you can say we're not done yet. I hope we're not done yet.
No, not yet.
So I just this is such a load. This is such a wholesome podcast for me because there's so much feels in this because I know Henry on a much more personal level, and this is obviously not something that because I mean I'm live streaming this obviously, so there's not much interaction, but I know that there are some of you who are listening and you're just listening, and we appreciate that.
Mm,
Um, so I actually wanna ask you something about bipolar. If you could my knowledge of bipolar is less than zero. What to me bipolar is what I've seen online, and it's basically the one moment you're fine, the next moment you're crazy. Now that's obviously not right. You
no.
have like different personalities if I'm understanding it correctly. Like you go through like certain phases, not being depressed and happy. It's much broader than that.
Yeah.
So if you could explain, and it's not only for me, I'm pretty sure other people might wonder as well. What you would say in your words, what is bipolar? How can you describe it to me?
Okay. Um, so bipolar is basically a mood disorder. So I'd wake up in the morning. I'm making an example now, no? And I'm driving to work with Chantal in the car. I'm talking and I'm happy, and I'm looking forward to the day. I'm looking forward to seeing the guys. We're gonna work and everything. And as soon as I get out of my car, it's just like a switch that flips, and I instantly go depressed, and everything is just shit. And maybe somewhere through the day, I start feeling better again, and everything is fine. Then I get into my car, I drive to Chantel's work, pick her up, and a switch just flips, and I just feel aggressive and agitated and angry. And yeah,
Is
it's not all.
bipolar personality disorder, or is that something different?
Yeah, personality disorder is something different.
Okay,
That's
no, so
something
it's like
different.
yeah, that's how little I know. So
Yeah.
it's basically you just shift moods like a monster,
Mm.
and so I've heard stories of people who have bipolar who, when I say go crazy, they literally go crazy. Like they forget to take their medication, and they would just like
Yeah,
they would
that's
like
like
break
the worst
stuff
thing you can
or
do. Yeah. The worst thing you can do is stop taking your medication. Like quitting cold turkey on your medication is the worst thing you can do. Now, I want to tell you a story. This antipsychotic I have. So I was drinking about 3 milligrams of it, and it started having like severe effects on my libido. I couldn't fucking get on the job and do my shit.
Mhm.
So that bothered me immensely. I would rather take the voices than not being able to have sex.
No. Yeah, in layman's terms, you couldn't get hard.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
rise to the
Couldn't,
occasion.
couldn't do my shit. Yeah.
Okay.
So I told my psychiatrist, I'm like, listen, I can't fucking do this anymore. She's like, okay, um, go back down to 1 milligram. So I jumped from 3 milligrams to one. For about 4 days, everything was fine. And then the one day, I started getting like these weird sensations, and I don't know, something just felt wrong. And it wasn't long after that, it felt like my whole body was on fire. My spinal cord on the back of my neck was like burning hot. I was sweating. I was shaking. I couldn't move. I needed someone to take me home because I was having withdrawal
Because
from
you
this
went from
medication
3 milligrams to one
to
milligram.
one. Yeah. I
Okay.
was literally having withdrawal from this medication and I had to drink some more just to make it stop. And that withdrawal feeling, I don't wish on my worst enemy. Like, I can literally understand why drug addicts would sell their own mother's jewelry just to get another hit, to not go through that withdrawal. That is, if I can imagine, well, if I can, I don't know what death feels like, but for me, that is worse than death. That was like,
Jesus.
that was really, really bad and seriously painful.
And how
That
did you
was
end
the
up coping
worst.
with it?
Well, I told Chantel she's gonna have to come home now because I might die. I don't know what's going on. So yeah, um, I immediately knew that I was having withdrawal.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it was shit. It
But
was it was bad.
okay, but what did you do? So obviously you knew you had. Did you just jump back
Mm.
on the bigger, the more strong medication, or
Yeah,
was
I,
there
I just went
alternatives?
I just went back to 3, and then I taper down. Like, I take 2.75 for a week, and then 2.5 for another week, and then
So you slowly
2.25. Yeah, slowly
adjusted back.
taper down.
Okay, and
So,
are you like are you sexually active again? Like, are those things sorted out?
bro, that's a whole nother fucking story. I'm too fat to be sexually active, but that's for a whole nother story.
No, but I
It's
mean,
very, it's uncomfortable, guy.
yeah, no, I
But at
understand that.
least I can get the.
Yeah, you can get the man going. Okay,
Yeah,
no, that's basically what I meant. When I said sexually active, that's basically what I meant. That
mm,
that's so weird that you like for to think that something that is supposed to control your mood can control something like that. Like
yeah.
that's it just shows that people think like if you have a cold, go to the doctor. He gives you like I don't know Fluzin. He tells you to go drink a med lemon, take your antibiotics or not your antibiotics, but take your medication and you finish it. But then someone like you who has to take medicine religiously, it obviously has different effects on your body. Some you might
Mm.
not even know about yet. Like, for you might be losing hair, or you might be, I don't know, damaging something on the inside that just hasn't been found out yet. And that's what I'm saying. The fact that you have to take so much medication it's almost scary for me because I can't even begin to think what that's like.
Well, just for interest sakes, this mood stabilizer I take. Now, on the little paper thing you get inside the box that
Oh yeah, that
tells
no
you
one
all
reads.
the,
Yeah, the one that
yeah.
no one reads that they're supposed
Now,
to.
this pill can outright kill you. The first time you take it, you die.
Jesus, how
So
how
I don't know. I didn't ask my psychiatrist about how. I just like was so terrified about I'm gonna die if I drink this.
yeah,
Like it's like one in fuck. I don't know how many chance for it to happen,
okay,
but there has been tests where people take this pill and they just outright die. And then there's another thing that this pill does. It gives you a type of a rash, um, Peter Thompson syndrome or something like that. I can't remember exactly what the name is.
yeah.
Um, but your skin literally starts to rot off of your body,
Holy fuck.
like where the rashes are. Like your skin starts to rot. So she told me if I see rashes, immediately I must go to hospital. So luckily none of that shit has happened.
Okay. Well, that's a
So the
plus.
medication is dangerous, yeah.
And I bet the
But
other ones also have some effects,
yeah,
side
they
effects and stuff
also
like that.
do, yeah. Oh,
Yeah. That's
yeah. Yeah.
that's
But
insane.
the thing is, the medication has the negative stuff, but there's a lot more positive stuff you can get out of um, taking your medication than deciding not to go on medication.
Yeah.
And I know, like we're telling everybody now, get help, go to professional. This shit ain't cheap, guy. Like a psychologist appointment costs you about $700, bit more,
700
probably eight
bucks.
hundred, probably seven to $800,
That's cheap.
depending on who you see.
That's cheap
No?
to what I
Yeah.
because when I went, so when I was working at this previous company, I did have medical, but due to what I had to pay for petrol every month, I couldn't take like a big package. So I had like the most base package of medical. So I went to them and I'm like, listen, I have a medical card. Can you just check for me what it's gonna cost? And they're like, oh no, we'll find out for you. Maybe we can cover it. And they weren't able to cover it, and I had to go for 3 sessions. I asked, they said, what is the least amount you can take to where you at least get a decent diagnosis, or where they can really tell you what might be wrong. And I paid 2,500 rand cash per session for
So,
3 sessions. The first session was just like a conversation, and it's only an hour. It was only a fucking hour, and it was like conversation. And after the second session, he basically told me like what he can from his expertise, and this was like the highly recommended guy in D'Urberville. He's like the best. He's won like awards and all that. And I went because I wanted to go to someone that knows this shit, and I immediately liked him. He was a very, very nice guy. And he basically, in the second session, he told me, like, listen, you just have severe social anxiety, and you can see that most of it is because of my weight and just how, when I was brought up, or when I grew up, how, kids making fun of you, or you always in your head you see yourself in a much different way than other people might see you. Like, someone might find you attractive, but in your eyes, you are just a fucking troglodyte. And he basically just told me, like, listen, you have social anxiety, and I started taking medication for it. I thought, and this shows you how uninformed I was, I thought that I had depression because I was always like down and stuff, but in the end it was actually just because of my social anxiety. I overthought every single scenario over and I'd always see the bad outcome. I'd never see the good one, or I'd never see the bit of light that there might be at the end of the tunnel. And that's why like I said, I sought out help. I took medication. They put me on very, very light medication, because they said they don't want to push me just into the deep end with something like that. And I took it. I think I took it for 6 months, and it also, there was a month where I weren't able to afford it, and I spoke to him. I phoned him. I was like, listen, dude, I can't pay this shit this month. Like, what now? And he says, okay, what you can try is, okay, whatever I have left, start like breaking it in half. So I had like these long little brown tablets. It looked like something you'd feed to a bird. And I broke it like in half for like a week. And then I broke it again for like a week. And I noticed there was a shift in my mood, or a way I was just interacting. I felt like I was kind of going back to my old self. And then I got a job interview at this new place, and it made me so fucking happy. And I got like a second callback, and I got like a third callback. So it was really, really, like, I thought, in my mind, I was like, listen, this has to be it. This fucking has to be it. This has to be finally a new job. And then when I got it, the same day that not the same day, I think it was the day after I got it, I actually ran out of medication. And that's when I decided I'm not going to buy again. I'm going to try and work on myself. So I phoned him and I told him, like, listen, I'm not going to buy medication again. And he said that if you feel mentally strong enough to try and take this head on without medication, do so. But if things go back to the way it was, you're gonna have to. Like, if you want to fix yourself, you're gonna have to take the medication. It's just gonna be it. But I haven't taken the medication since. When just a bit before, actually quite a while before I got the new job, like a month and a half, I started doing like the keto diet, and I started losing weight, and that made me happy. And then getting the new job, that made me happy. And then just my new working environment being super, super fucking nice, and the support system I have from there is really, really good. So that made me happy, and I just started looking at happier things. And like I said again, there's like this girl at work. There's this guy at work I work with. His name is he's a content writer for the company,
Hmm.
He's like the smartest fucking guy, and he's so interesting to talk to. And if I think of myself like a year ago, I would think, who the fuck is this guy? Like, why is he even speaking to me? And like everyone is just so fucking nice. Like it's such a great support system. We have developers, like you would know at this company, the old one, like the position we were in, we don't get to speak to the developers. Developers are God, and you're like that little fucking ant that picks up the shit.
Well,
Like,
that's
but
corporate for you, guy.
exactly. In the new company,
Mm.
the developers sit next to you. They talk to you, and they're like, "Listen, dude, you need help. I'm here." So
Mm.
that was definitely a big improvement for me, and that's how I overcame my struggles. There's a lot of times that I browse through like my fucking the posts and stuff that I put on, and then I look like a previous post, and I'm like, Jesus, I am one fucking broken little toy, and I just dealt with it by surrounding myself with better and happier thoughts.
Yeah, environment, your environment that you're in, that makes a huge difference to your mood and the way you act. Like if you're constantly in an environment that's shit, you are gonna be a shitty person. That's just how it is.
No, I have to agree with them. And like, if you think about it, a work environment is it's such an important thing because they
You
if you
spend half your
that's what I was
life
about to
there.
say. You sometimes spend more time, or not sometimes. I would say most of the time, you spend most of your time at work. If you think about it, I mean, if you get home from work, let's say you're lucky like me, you work Monday to Friday, and if you spend, let's say the average working hours for someone is 9 hours. You work 8 hours and you have your hour lunch. So if you get home, let's say you get home at, let's be nice here. Let's say you get home at 5. You get home at 5. Maybe you go shower, you eat some food, you do whatever. It's 7 o'clock. Maybe you watch like a series or something. You spend some time with your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your children, your
Load
whatever.
shedding.
Yeah, exactly. Then you get fucked by load shedding, and then you're like, oh well, might as well go to bed. You just spend
Yeah.
9 hours at work, and the people you work with, and you come home to your spouse, like I said, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your dog, whoever, and you spend like 4 hours with them. You just go to bed. So your working environment, or the environment that you put yourself in every day, if that is a bad environment, it's something you need to work on to change. For a lot of people, it's not that easy. For me, it wasn't that easy.
Mm.
Like, there's people who are fortunate enough, and fuck knows how they do it, who can just say, listen, I quit, I'm gonna get a new job, and then they quit before getting a new job. I had to, I have rent to pay, I have a car to pay, I have this to pay, I have that to pay, I have all my porn subscriptions I have to pay for. I had to make money. Yeah, exactly. Okay, obviously I'm joking. I don't pay for porn. We have
No,
porn
no.
up, but
Look, I know you like to watch that weird shit, but yeah.
but like, but you get what I'm saying. Like, some people are fortunate enough for just not working. Like, mommy and daddy pays the bills. Not
Mm.
my problem. Those people are so fortunate, and I feel like people really need to, like, if your environment is unhappy, or if your environment is making you unhappy, you have to try and do something to change that. Or
Mm.
like, there are people who are following, they're doing what they love. They love what they're doing, and that's great. But there's obviously not everyone has that.
Yeah.
Not everyone has that luxury. Not everyone does. And for people like that who have these, if that makes you, or if your environment brings you down, it's just going to bring the whole ship down with you. So once again, like I said, if you're fortunate enough to change that, if you're fortunate enough to work on your environment, definitely do that, because that made a huge fucking
Yeah.
difference for me. Um, yeah, it's just all these small things that just builds up into this fucking thing inside our head, which is literally just like this blob of shit floating, but it can do so much damage to a human being. It's
Yeah, it's it's
insane.
it's it's insane. Like, um, with the mental illness thing of mine, when I would get angry, my mental state would reflect it in would like physically manifest it in my body. So I'd get like these pains in my chest, and like every time I would get angry, I get this pain in my chest. And I shit you not, after three the first 3 sessions I had with my psychiatrist, I haven't gotten that ever again. Because I just cried. I just talked about all my shit,
Yeah.
and
It's
it just
so
went away.
good. It's so
I,
good to
I
talk.
literally healed my mind, and that stopped manifesting that physical shit.
It's so good to talk about stuff like that. I just have to. Someone in chat just
Look,
said you're turning
the
into a Hulk. That's why your chest is paining. You're busy turning into a Hulk. It's not
um
green yet, boys. Come on.
so yeah, so the thing is now, and this is a bit of advice I want to give to you guys listening, and Enrico to you as well. Like, I know that it's difficult to talk to someone and to be truthful to someone that you don't know, that's a stranger. I know it's even difficult to talk to family or a friend that you do know.
Especially family.
All your that like deep personal stuff, you just don't tell that to anybody. But if you do go see a psychiatrist or psychologist and you get along with this person and you like this person, it's only going to be, beneficial for yourself and for your, health practitioner that you're
Yeah.
seeing, if you are completely 100% honest all the time.
Yeah, you.
And
I
you
was.
don't,
I was gonna mention that you
yeah,
can't lie to yourself. Like
no.
you have to be. This is one of those situations you just have to be. You just have to suck it up.
If Yeah, if you lie to your psychiatrist or your psychologist, I mean, you're just shooting yourself, because they're not going to diagnose you properly, and it's just going to turn to shit for you. But what I want to say is, being 100% truthfully honest to them doesn't mean you have to tell all your stories in one session.
Yeah.
Take it slow. If they ask you to talk about something, don't lie about it. Just tell them, look, I'm not ready to talk about that yet. Can we touch on it later? And they'll just move on to the next thing. Um, they're not there to judge you. Um, they're not there to ridicule you or anything.
Yeah.
They are honestly there just to help. And I saw this with my psychiatrist. She is the most amazing person in the world. Um, I can talk to her about anything. Doesn't matter what it is. And I got some fucked up dark shit that went on in my life, guys. Like, I'm obviously not gonna talk about it here, but yeah, it's bad. Well, I'll tell this one story. Um,
We got him, boys.
just this one. So I was in sub A. What's that, like grade
Grade
one?
one, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
I'm a millennial
So I
dude.
was I was like 6 years or 7 years old, and my mom just married this other man, my stepfather, and I was put in this hostel in a small little, farming community.
Grade
There
one
was
in a
this little
hostel.
town. Yeah.
Jesus.
So we were all staying in this fucking hostel with all the older kids and the stuff. So this one night, I get to my room after showering, and there's this standard five boy in the room, and yeah, they push me onto the bed and they proceed to rape me.
Jesus.
Um,
This is when you were 6 years old.
mm, Basically, all the other kids, they were just standing there and laughing. Uh, I don't really think anybody could do anything because this was quite a big guy. Uh, was a lot stronger than I was.
No.
Um,
Jesus.
yeah, so he
That's.
pushed me down on the bed, and I just couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything about it.
Fuck,
I
that's.
mean, that's the kind of shit that, I'm not saying that happens to everybody that goes to
No.
hostel, but that happened to me.
I went to a hostel and okay, I didn't have any experiences like that, thank God. Um, but that's. I'm sorry to hear that. I never knew that. That's honestly fucked up to hear.
Fuck, bro. Like I say, shit happens. I've dealt with it. I've talked about it a lot with my psychiatrist. I'm not as bothered by it as much as I used to be.
Yeah.
Like, it used to be a fucking huge thing for me. Um, but I You know what? I don't even think I told my mother about this. I don't think she knows.
Yeah, I don't think you obviously didn't tell anyone because I mean it would have been a much
So
bigger thing then.
first year, guys, you just caught it. Um, yeah. And then there's lots of other stuff,
Yeah, things you
that
do.
happened um as I was growing up. I've been in a hostel until the day I finished school. I was in hostel, and
12 years.
yeah, basically.
12
And
years.
man, let me tell you, for me, it wasn't a good place. Like a lot of emotional shit like that,
No,
abuse. When I got to high school, I was a popular kid because all the fucking matrix loved me because I used to tell all my dirty little jokes, and they found that very entertaining.
no,
And I think when I was about standard 8, I started to gym and exercise. I got really big, really strong, and people were quite scared of me. Everybody just left me alone. And I think that's how I, got all the bullies off of me,
no,
shit like that. Um, but a lot of shit went down when I was younger.
no,
I went through some abuse at home. My mom also struggles. Oh well, that time, I don't know. She. I don't think she's ever had medication or whatever, but she also had like suicidal. I would say also heavy bipolar symptoms.
mm,
And because of that, I also suffered under it. I was abused quite a lot. I don't blame my mother for it. I understand, you know, when you are in that mental state, you do things that you won't normally do.
no.
That is not you. So I don't blame her. I'm not angry with her. I love her like fuck. I love her a lot.
It's your
Like
mother, dude. No, it's your
yeah,
mother.
I'd lay my life down for her. So
That was yo, that
that
took me
was
off guard there. If that's yeah, someone just said in the chat, our kids are assholes. Children are the way people get raised today, or kids get raised today, is much different than when I was younger, when you were younger. Like kids are fucked up. They can do some messed up shit, and to them it might be nothing in that moment, or they'll be like, "Oh, in 10 years' time, he won't even remember."
mm,
But things stick. There are certain things you're gonna remember for as long as you. It's as much as you try to forget the memory, the more you are gonna actually think about it, and yeah, that's gonna be something that's gonna be with you. That's gonna be with you for forever, if I might even
well,
say.
the thing is, like, I think if I didn't go to see someone to help me with that,
Yeah,
that would have definitely been an issue for me, going on with my life. But um, I've dealt with it. I'm fine. It's just something that happened to me, and you know, like they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
yeah. That's a very a very that's just a quote that's very fitting for this. We've touched on a lot of things. Um, we've touched really on a lot of like. I'm really really happy you got to tell your story. I think it was deserved to be told, and I really hope that you can touch somewhere in some way, not in a weird way that came out wrong, but you know what I mean. I really hope that you if someone wants to reach out to me, I'm I I can the best I can do is I can make you laugh maybe. If you want to reach out to me, to anyone, if there's anything you want to ever talk about, and so once again I will say this again and again and again. There's one goal that I have here, is that if you don't feel right, do something about it. Obviously there's a lot of people out there who's happy, and those motherfuckers are blessed. They are lucky, and I wish everyone could be like that. So if there's something I can leave this with, I feel like this is a good point where to end this. We went through a lot, and it's a lot to process for me personally, because you are not only just someone I know, you're a friend, and these are things that I didn't know. I also don't want to make it too long and make people fall asleep. Um, so if there's something once again that I can leave this with, it's just if something is wrong, if you mentally feel something is not right, try and do something about it. Talk to someone.
Mm.
Even if you talk to a friend, I promise you, having friends is one of the greatest things. And we can joke about, oh, I don't have any friends. There's always someone you can maybe talk to. It doesn't necessarily have to be a close friend. It's just even if anyone wants to speak to me, there are
You
people.
know,
Sorry,
sorry, Enrico.
no.
Oh, you know what helped me a lot was just looking for chat rooms where people talk that have bipolar or depression or whatever, just chatting with fucking strangers.
I
That
remember
helped me a lot.
when I started streaming, you were one of my main chatters. You and Buttery Kai were the two dirtiest motherfuckers that I knew. But you were always in my chat, just speaking to each other. He was just making jokes and stuff. And I know for a fact that Buttery is also, he has his mental things that he goes through. But he's young, so he's still developing. And I've spoken to him about it, and I think he also found that a bit of closure with that. But just talking to someone, even if it's jokes, even if you're talking shit about each other, it's it's a good way
Mm.
to deal with these things. We are, I'm going to say, both fortunate and unfortunate enough to live in this internet era where everything is available online. Um, with a click of a button, I am now live streaming a podcast to a few people, which I'm probably going to upload before the end of the night onto YouTube for more people to watch who are not able to watch the live broadcast. That's pretty fucking significant if you think about it. Because if you go back like 30 years, okay, maybe a bit more, that was never a possibility. Um, so yeah, is there anything you want to still add? Anything you still want to say? Anything you would like to discuss, talk about? Because we don't have to end this. I feel like this is just
Mm.
a perfect way to end this off because we spoke about a lot and it's a lot to deal with, and a lot of things has been said, a lot of stories has been told. So is there anything you want to like say, raise, if you anything you want to get out there? I know you have a Twitter. I don't even know what your handle is. If you want people to maybe reach out
I
to you on
also
Twitter.
don't fucking know. Well,
Okay. I know you literally have like no social medias at all.
yeah, I don't use Facebook really.
Nothing.
Um, yeah, I think the only thing that I want to add on is like, and I think we've fucking drilled this in now over and over, like get help, guys. Um, I know it's not easy. It's expensive, but save 2 months if you have to, um, and then go see someone. Some of the psychologists and psychiatrists are even nice, and they'll tell you, "Look, I understand you can't pay this much. I'll only ask you so much. What can you afford?"
Yeah.
Some of them will do that. They are awesome people. If you are fortunate enough to be able to afford a medical aid, there's a thing called PMB. It's prescribed minimum benefits, and the medical aid must give you 15 sessions a year that you can use to go see someone. Um, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to cover the whole amount of the session, but some psychiatrists, psychologists, they will only put the bill in for that amount that they cover. My psychiatrist costs like 1,400 rand every time I go see her, and she also functions as my psychologist as well. So my medical aid gives out thousands a year to her. So I know it's expensive, but make a plan, talk to your family, tell them, listen, I have this problem, I want to go see someone. You don't necessarily have to, tell them about your problem,
Yeah.
but just try and see if you can make a plan to go, because that will literally change your life. It
Yeah.
will make a difference, I promise you.
Yeah. Just if you feel in a place where you are alone and dark, it's such a cliche to say, but you are not alone. There's so much people that's going to be willing to help you, even if you don't think so. I didn't think so. Henry
Mm.
didn't think so. There's millions of other people in the past that didn't think so. There's probably someone listening to this right now who didn't think so.
The thing is, I told my psychiatrist the first time I told her pills is not going to help me. There's no hope for me. No one can help me. I just have to die because that's all there is for me. And I believe that. that was like, you know, that's true. There wasn't anything else but that.
Yeah.
And now I know, that wanting to die is not something that's normal.
It's not.
Um, my brain doesn't think like that at when I am happy and I'm um, just doing my thing. But when I'm depressed, it's like all you think about is just dying because your life is shit. Doesn't matter what is good now. Um, it's just shit. It's gonna go back to shit. It's never gonna get better.
Yeah.
But yeah, go see someone, get some help. It will change your life.
I wanted to. I just thought about this now, but me as a listen, I'm a gamer. I love my games. I don't play as much games anymore as I want to. Um, but with gamers and stuff, it's even. I almost want to say it's almost harder in some ways to talk about things like this because the communities are so fucking toxic. Like everyone just
Mm.
tells you like go kill yourself or go die or hope your mother gets cancer and stuff like that. In the moment you're in your head, you're like, what the fuck is who's this guy? What is he saying? And then the thing is, what happens with someone like me, and this is very personal to me. So I just want to adjust myself here. This is very personal to me. Someone might tell me something online. It can be in my chat. It could be a message that someone sends right now. It could be while I'm playing a Counter-Strike match, while I'm playing World of Warcraft, and I'll be like, at the moment, I'll be like, what the fuck, who's this guy? And then tonight, when I lay in bed, I think about
Mm.
it. And that's when it hits me. That is when it becomes an issue for me. Or it becomes, that's where the anxiety kicks in of like overthinking fucking everything. And there could be literally absolutely nothing wrong. And I would start to question, why is nothing wrong? Like things have been going well for too long now. Something ain't right.
Yeah.
Something's gonna hit, shit is gonna hit the fucking fan, and it's the worst thing to live. It's the worst thing to live with, like having this constant like thing in your head. Okay, it's much better for me now. This is okay. I'll be honest. It's much better for me now, but having this constant thing of like just overthinking every single fucking thing. I have a very big. I'm gonna say I had because I made peace with it. I had a very big thing where I believed that my sister was the favorite in the family. I felt that she got so much more, and I personally sometimes feel like she's not thankful enough for it. But now that I've moved on from having these thoughts and stuff, I realized that how fucking stupid I was because she works so hard with everything she does, and my parents care about me just as much as they do about her. It's just this mental thing that we have, or that I have, that other people will also have and maybe can relate to, where you just overthink the stupidest and the smallest thing.
Mm.
And what I feel like, not as a community, but what the world is doing wrong. And I'm going to use this Counter Strike as an example. There's this thing on Twitch called the Good Luck Have Fun Pledge, where they literally just play an ad where they say like, listen, if someone is bullying you online or bullying someone else, just tell them to not do it. Like, no, that's not how it works. If I tell someone to stop being toxic, they're going to just be more toxic. The odds of that working out in a good way, of making shit better in this match or whatever, is like 1 in a million, I want to say. So I feel as a community, as a society, we are treating this so wrong. Older people are making decisions for younger people who don't fucking understand. Period. They don't. They don't understand. Our parents maybe grew up a bit different. They maybe grew up a bit harder because a lot of people are still blessed. They born, they go to school, they go get a degree, and they go to work. Someone like me, I was born, I went to school, I didn't have money to study. There was no money to study. I had to go start working immediately. That means I was not able to do what I wanted to. I wanted to do this, for example, and or this person wanted to do that, for example. And once again, this is all things that affect your mental health, because mentally you are unhappy with what you do because is this going to be my life? Do you think that fucking lady at the McDonald's stand wants to be a McDonald's worker for the rest of her life? Or someone who's working in a coffee shop that's like the nicest person you've ever met? You really think they want to be a waiter for the rest of their life? And they might be smiling at you now, but once they turn their back or you turn your back, conversation is over. In their head, they are just having the exact sucky thoughts that you have. And that's why that's why I'm saying it again. I'm going to say it again and again. Talk. If you are unhappy, try and talk to someone, because I can promise you, you might. The odds of you talking to someone that can maybe relate in the slightest way is so much bigger in today's times. We live in a social media fanatic era where our happiness are based, our endorphin levels are based on the amount of likes we get, the amount of shares we get, the amount of views we get. And for me as well, if I upload this video, or once I end the stream and I get that email and it tells me, hey, you peaked at 7 viewers, or you peaked at 10 viewers, it's like an endorphin rush. And we are in this moment now where that is what's making a lot of people happy, or materialistic things like in games or in real life. And this, just again, if you ever want to talk, there's people out there. And even if you want to talk to me, once again, I'm a fucking nobody. I'm no one in the world when it comes to stuff like this. But you can, at least you'll have someone to share with, someone to talk with. And I promise you, there's friends. There's probably people in my chat as well who will who want to share their story, or want to share what they're feeling, or will be there to lend a hand. People you think, those guys, those people who are the jokers and always making fun and making the big jokes and always the funny guy at the parties, those guys at night when they lay in bed, they are the ones. They are the ones who's laying there thinking and like, why am I such a fucking loser? I'm that guy. When I have local brides and stuff at my fucking home, I'm always, I'm not that guy anymore, I want to say. I've definitely improved a lot, but I'm that guy who would make jokes all night, and then once the party's over, get in bed and you're like, that was awesome. I wonder if they hate me now. Those are the things you think about all the fucking time.
Well, I think you're an awesome person, bro.
Thanks, man. You're not too bad yourself. No,
Ah,
I'm super
not
fucking.
me.
I'm super happy that you approached me. I'm
Well, I
super
thought
happy
it.
that we met. I'm definitely super happy that we met.
I thought it would be something interesting. Maybe your viewers would like to know about. But yeah, I remember when I got my first subscription to go get my medication. I had this thing about, this person on the side of the counter is gonna know that I am, crazy, because they're gonna have to give me this medication. So I was like, I arsehole to them, and I like the way they look at me, the way they talk to me. Like I would have found this like,
You'd have found something
everything
wrong with
wrong.
the
Yeah,
conversation. Yeah, exactly the same.
even though there wasn't,
Yeah,
you know. So yeah, it's a difficult thing to go through once you've been diagnosed, and you got your doctor says, okay, well, this is wrong with you, it's official now.
yeah,
There's like this whole stigma about it, and yeah, it was a difficult thing for me to deal with.
yeah,
I hated it. I still hate it. Like every time I go to the pharmacy and there's someone new, I have to deal with it again.
yeah. Because
Yeah,
it's like I keep saying this. It's almost like it's a label now. Like you live
mm,
your life. You're like Enrico Morton, IT support, suffers from anxiety. Like it
you know,
shouldn't be that. It shouldn't,
you,
and it should be just something that you deal with. And
you know what I fucking hate. Sorry, Enrique, to cut.
no, no,
cut.
no, go.
These people that always say on social media like, yeah, I'm someone gonna go commit suicide now. Oh, I wish I could just kill myself or
Yeah,
shit like that. That pisses me off. That fucking triggers me, because you don't know the emotion behind someone that actually suffers from depression
yeah,
saying stuff like that. You don't know.
yeah,
For you, it's
I'm
just a
I'm
joke.
guilty for that as well, because it's such a funny thing to say that, like, oh, I did this,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go kill myself,
yeah,
and it's again social medias and stuff like my channel. No, people, when I stream sometime, like if I miss a shot, I'm just gonna go fucking kill myself. Like we say stuff like that, but what you're saying now, it's true. Like I don't know, what it's like for another person to maybe hear that. It's yeah,
for me it was, well, it was a thing. It's not that like that anymore, because I understand now it's just like joking. But when you're in a deep depression and you just see other people making light of, suicide and stuff like that,
yeah,
I mean, it's, to me it was really fucked up. I hated those kind of people that would make a comment like that.
yeah.
um yeah.
I just wanna, just really wanna say one thing to anyone watching right now, and like I still have 10 subscribers on Twitch. I don't know how, but I really just want to say thank you to anyone. I think we got 2 new followers as well. I didn't welcome you uh right away, but yeah, thank you so much to anyone that's watching, to anyone that supported me, to my newest YouTube subscribers. Still so weird that I'm getting YouTube subscribers. Yeah, really, thank you so much. The reason I'm saying thank you is because there's already been people. How can I say? There's already been people who's kind of like there's someone I consider a very good friend. I'm not gonna mention his name. Someone I can consider a very good friend. When I told him about this podcast idea, he was like, "But that's so fucking boring. Who wants to listen to people talk?" And that's when I was like, you know what? 5 years ago, or not 5 years ago, 5 months ago, me would have been like, yeah, he's fucking right. I'm just a loser. I'm just gonna go cry and just get over it. And then I thought about it, like, but that's exactly what I want to do. I want to share people's experiences. I didn't have any like super famous fucking uh guests or anything. Someone DM'd me and he was like, dude, no one's gonna watch your podcast. You literally have nobody's on there. I'm like, yeah, exactly. So people can get to know other people. And I just I enjoy learning from people, or I enjoy having conversations with people. And yeah, I just want to, yeah, and this is where I'm actually going to end it off. I just really want to say thank you to anyone that was interacting tonight, especially in the chat. I was thinking about maybe adding, and no, it was not Famous, by the way. Famous has been my day one supporter all the fucking time, and I'll say that with all hearts. He's a very good viewer of mine. I was thinking of maybe adding the chat under the podcast as well, um, for when I upload it to YouTube so people can understand. But then there are times where people just say like the most derogatory shit in chat, and I'm like, what the fuck? And so I'm still considering it. So we might do it. Henry, I just want to say thank you so fucking much for sharing a really, really powerful story with not only me.
I just want to say thank you for allowing me
Yeah,
to
dude.
share my story.
We will probably, if this goes well, if I keep doing this and I still find enjoyment out of it, which I really am right now, this we'll do a follow up, definitely. Um, Thank you for sharing your story and speaking so openly about it. To anyone that's watching that weren't able to watch the entire thing, please type !YouTube or !podcast. It will be uploaded tonight still probably and be available tomorrow morning. If you want, you can go follow my Twitter. Henry doesn't have any social medias that I can connect you with. So yeah, if you want, you can also follow me on Twitch. If you really love me, you can subscribe with Twitch or Twitch Prime. And if you really, really, really love me, go subscribe on YouTube. Just do everything. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And once again, thank you to Henry, our awesome fucking guest. I hope everyone has a good night. We have been lucky enough not to have load shedding, but probably from like Tuesday they're gonna be like, listen, we made a mistake here. So yeah, thank you so fucking much for everyone that's watching, anyone who's interacting with me in chat, on Twitter, for the follows, the retweets, Noob Slice, giving me that fat host, everything. Thank you so much. I love you all, and thank you so much for watching. Have a good one, guys. Peace.
From the moment you were born, you always had it all. And I guess someone dropped the ball.